Good evening, folks. Jacob of Ephraim here, and I have got something to show y'all. There's a reason why I use more than one source, because sometimes one will have something that's good, and another one will kind of catch up and agree. Sometimes you'll have something that's just completely off the wall, but either way, it's something to keep your eyes open for. Not necessarily to panic, but to go, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Here we are at Space Weather Prediction Center, okay? And I'm actually at the Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard, okay? This is one of the places that I do come. And we can see that we're at, 2s and 3s. Looks like we might have a 4 for our KP index, okay? No new major flares, nothing, super important. We did have that proton flux, and I showed you that earlier. But let me show you what I'm actually bringing y'all here for. Let me show you the real ordeal here. Come on, get down there. Here we go. This is what we're here for. We're actually here to take a look at this. Okay, this right here is our sunspots. Okay, sunspot number progression. Okay, and down here we got the radial flux. Okay, so as we can see, we are outperforming. Okay, doing a pretty decent number of outperforming. Right here let's get to the real number of it. Monthly value at 59.7. Predicted value, which is in red, was only supposed to be 31.5. So we're about doubled. Okay, we're about doubled. We're kicking buns right now. Now this is a Space Weather Prediction Center. Okay, bring you back up to the top. Space Weather Prediction Center. Now let's click over here to spaceweatherlive.com. This got my eyeballs attentioned real quick. This is their sunspot number. Do y'all see this? Let's go down here and see what these colors are actually supposed to mean. Look at this. Black means the sunspot numbers, the actual numbers. Red is a predicted sunspot number standard curve method. Look at the correction that they've had to do. Holy cow. Now as we get up here, this is what we're looking at. 226 by February of 2023. Whoa. That's way more than what they were originally predicting, which is 115. Yeah. Monthly smooth, predicted sunspot. Now this is combined. This is a combination. This yellow one here is combined between the purple and the red. So they're like, yeah, we could be right about to here. But I'm telling you what, this gets my attention because this is, I think, we're closer where we're going to be at. So yeah, come on over here and check them out. See what they got going on over here. There's so much to it. It's really quite nuts. I mean, whoa. That's all I can really say is whoa. So what does all of this mean? Well, there is research which shows evidence that Earth's climate is sensitive to very weak changes in the sun's energy output over time frames of tens and hundreds of years. So that means Earth is sensitive. So just little bits of changes can affect us. Okay? Times of maximum sunspot activity are associated with a very slight increase in the energy output from the sun. Ultraviolet radiation increases dramatically during high sunspot activity, which can have a large effect on the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, now think about this. Ultraviolet radiation increased dramatically during high sunspot activity, right? Which can have a large effect, and that's during normal times. Okay, let's keep in mind, folks, that our poles are moving. Okay, let's remember this here. Let's come on up here. Here we are. The poles are actually moving, which is creating a weaker magnetic field or shield, if you want. Okay, or if you will. Here's our South Pole, magnetic South Pole. It's not even on the Antarctic continent. It's in the ocean. Okay, and our North Pole, it is doing a mass exodus stage right. I mean, it's like right around in here right now. And this is where it was in 2000. It is hauling buns, man. Okay, and I'm not just taking one source. I actually took another resource on it and did the same thing. I did a little check. And sure enough, exit stage right. This one is showing the same thing. I mean, holy cow, look how far out it is. And this one here, yep, same thing. It's out in the ocean. So it's moving. So we have a weaker field. Okay, so that's going to absolutely affect us. Okay, now The converse is true during minimum sunspot activity. By trying to filter the influence of the sun's energy output and its effect on our climate with the noise created by a complex interaction between our atmosphere, land and oceans can be difficult. For example, there is research which shows that the Maunder minimum not only occurred during a time with a decided lack of sunspot activity, but also coincided with a multi-decade episode of large volcanic eruptions. We have a lot of volcanoes going off right now. Large volcanic eruptions are known to hinder incoming solar radiation. Finally, there is evidence that some of the major ice ages Earth has experienced were caused by Earth being deviated from its average 23.5 degree tilt on its axis. So when it's moving on its axis, and you got the magnetic field is a little bit weaker because the poles are moving, and then you got all this stuff going on. Like, wait a doggone second here, what's happening? Okay, so we come over here, and we can take a look at what we're at. We're at 23.4. That is our current tilt right now. So, and this was saying being deviated from 23.5. Okay, this isn't looking all that good. Indeed, Earth has tilted anywhere from 22 degrees to 24.5 degrees on its axis, but overall, when examining Earth on a global scale and over long periods of time, it is certain that the solar energy output does have an effect on Earth's climate. However, there will always be a question to the degree of effect due to the terrestrial and oceanic interactions on Earth. Now, we all know that we have the currents, the transatlantic current. We've got the currents out in the ocean that go from, the Pacific Ocean, go from all the way up, from Alaska, and they go all the way down through, past Hawaii, down towards Australia. And the same thing in the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, they've got a regular current on how it moves. Well, the poles are moving. Antarctica and Arctica are melting at alarming rates, adding more water, cold water, to the ocean. It's going to disrupt what's going on in the water. It's going to disrupt the flow. So even though the sunspot activity is going to be kicking up, and we're going to be warming up from that, the waters are going to be getting colder. So you're adding water to the ocean. I mean, by miles and miles of water. Waters are going to rise. If you live by the coast, I would seriously consider moving somewhere where you're not so close to the coast, because waters are going to come up. I mean, that's inevitability. Waters are going to rise. Okay, whether we do a complete pole flip or not when Nemesis passes, that's yet to be seen. But even if we don't, just the fact that it's present and it's putting off heat, it's going to help continue to melt our poles. Okay, not to mention the sunspots are coming up. So yeah, and there are maps that show what the Earth is going to look like after Nemesis is already done and gone. In fact, the United States military, I believe it's the United States Navy Future Army. In fact, you know what? Here, let's go take a look at it. Okay, so what I did was I just went in. I actually put in UN Navy instead of US Navy Future Earth Map, and here they come up. Here it is. Bamboozled. Here's the United States. You know what I mean? I mean, that's something to be concerned about. I wouldn't want to be near any coastline, and this really breaks my heart, because I'm a Michigan boy. It's like, oh, all that fresh water, it's all going to be connected to the ocean. Oh no, I do not like seeing that at all. But I mean, hello, Utah, Nevada. Oh, this is not good. Texas, Louisiana. I mean, look at this, Atlantis. Now, you got Atlantis, Lemuria. Now, the thing people have to understand is Atlantis was not just one little ring place. Atlantis was an entire civilization. Okay, so, but that's a whole nother discussion. So, this is what they're looking at. Now, our poles are melting, remember. So, all of this stuff we're going to have a lot more water all over. Now, granted, all of these bodies of land are kind of showing up. So that just doesn't seem to sound right, does it? I mean, how would that happen? Well, the way that would happen is if our poles flipped. If we were all of a sudden going in a different, like if our North and South Pole were not where they're at, and they went back to their other position, and their other position is the Bermuda Triangle and the Devil's Triangle, which is why there's all those serious magnetic anomalies. The Devil's Triangle is actually in the Indian Ocean. And Bermuda Triangle is, right off the east side of Florida. So that's where our other poles used to be. So when we flip around that away, that's going to be a big difference on how things are looking. But time will tell. We'll have to see what happens with it. Now, while checking different maps and stuff, I actually happened to stumble upon this one, and check this out right here. New Arctic Circle. Oh, wait a minute. What's right here? Oh yeah, the Bermuda Triangle. Why would it be the New Arctic Circle? Because that's where the poles are going to be. Right here at the Bermuda Triangle, just like I was saying. It's actually kind of funny that I found it. I'm like, oh, look at that. So, yeah, we could be looking in for a very, very different world, folks. And here's a website here, actually called Surviving the Pole Shift. And then it's .com, and they actually go over different stuff on on the pole shift. You have different categories that you can come over about Planet X, which is basically our second star, Nemesis. That people get it confused with a planet. It's not a planet. It's our second star. So, and they have all kinds of different things here behind it. I mean, Planet X kind of take it tongue-in-cheek, understanding that it's Nemesis, and that Nibiru, which is one of the planets they're going to talk about, is a planet that goes around Nemesis. So this is all stuff that's going to be coming to fruition from all of the data that we've seen. So I advise everybody to come over here and take a peek here and see what's going on, and start preparing for yourself. I mean, it's going to be between now and probably 2025, to be honest with you, in my view. But only time will tell. But either way, remember, folks, eyes open, no fear, and love is the only way forward.